What is going on, you guys? Y'all know me by a lot of names, but this is Head as Podcast, man. And I'll be bringing you everything from anime and sports. Um, this is gonna be my first episode, man. Just go on the journey with me, you guys. I'll try my best to keep you guys entertained, from trolling to arguments to debates, man. We're gonna wrap up the NBA season, so without further ado, let's get into it. So the Lakers won last night. I thought they was gonna tank. I thought I'm really hard on LeBron. I ain't gonna lie to you. No Diddy. No Diddy. I'm a diehard Bulls fan, man. I'm a Jordan fan. So, but I do have LeBron as my number three all time. So, I criticize him a lot. So, they won last night, against the Nuggets. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. The Pelicans. They won last night against the Pelicans, 110 to 106. And I don't like the stat line. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like Anthony Davis could have did more. He's really been iffy this season, although he played most of the season. He could have did more. LeBron had 23, 9, and 9. We can expect those numbers. Basically 40 years old, man. What else can we expect from him? 40,000 points. He'll probably end his career with 60,000. It depends on how he feels, right? He could play well closer to his 50s if he wanted to. It's LeBron James. But they will be playing the Nuggets, who gave them a nice little gentleman's sweep last season. So the playoffs are getting pretty nice. From what I've seen, I really do. I feel like everybody's been pretty lazy, and there's been a lot of injuries this season. So it's whoever's championship this year. I feel like. Um, I really don't think the Nuggets will two-peat. I think they're a one and done type of team, kind of like the Raptors. Like, I don't feel like you could really get another team to be that good again, especially with everybody leaving to get their max contracts. I feel like there's enough max contracts to go around. There's really nobody. No team is trying to win multiple championships, honestly, and rightfully so. I mean, the ring culture. Um, I'd rather the ring, honestly, and the max contract, but I don't think everybody thinks that way. So, obviously, there's enough money to go around with today's game. So, with Jaylen Brown getting his $300 million deal, Luka Doncic probably in the next few years can close in on a 350 plus. So, I really feel like that's what the league has come to, and I'm not mad at it, man. Get your coins. Back to what I was talking about. I digress. Um, the Lakers will be playing the Nuggets, who gave them a nice little gentleman's sweep. The Warriors, however, have been shit in the bed all season. So they lost to the Kings last night, 118 to 94. My nigga Clay had a goose egg, and I never thought I would see that from Clay at least. 3 point, at least you can give me his 3 points. But I can't even bitch about it, bro. I cannot bitch about it. 4 rebounds, 1 assist. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from three. No free throws. Somebody has to make up those points. Somebody has to. Wiggins can't make up those points. He had 12 points. Green had 12 points. I'm surprised. This nigga Green. I'm surprised when Green has over 10 points at any time, and that's no disrespect to Green. That's really not his job, but I'm still surprised when he has over 10 points. He does everything else so well. He shot 4 of 8 from the field. That's crazy. 2 for 4 from three. That's wild. Curry was 3 for 7 from three, 22 points, man. 8 for 16 from the field. So nobody else made up those fucking points, bro. That's a time when everybody has to step up. Um, that extra 24 points has to come from somewhere, man. Wiggins and Kaminga. At that time, Wiggins and Kaminga have to make up that they have to add another 12, man. If they don't give us 20, they at least have to give us, you know, 15 to 20, man. If they're gonna hit the 20s, man, 20 to 25. The playoffs are here. Kaminga, hasn't really experienced the playoffs as much, but I really need him to step up, bro. I don't want to put too much expectations on him. Moody has been playing good as hell this season, man. I think Moody deserves a little more playing time. Green, man, Green is the Splash Brothers legacy is done. Green has. I don't want to put the blame on him altogether. It's some of Clay's fault, and I don't want to say fault. I use that loosely. Clay has shit the bed a little bit. Green has shit the bed a little bit. Curry has to. He's just having to put the team on his back. Time and time again, he has to put the fucking team on his back. A few games ago, Green gets ejected. 6 minutes into the game, gets 2 technicals. He's fucking out. I feel like that's a little more on the refs. The refs have been trying to get him out the game ever since he choked the shit out of Rudy Gobert. So I feel like there is some conspiracy to that. If you don't want to use conspiracy, I feel like they're singling him out because they know his actions. They know they can get him tempered. Clay, however, has been having a bad few years shooting, even though he averaged 22. I want to say the year they won 2020, he averaged 20 plus on a bad shooting year, his worst shooting year of his career. He hasn't been the same ever since Draymond got that $100 million deal and Jordan Poole left. So he and I'm gonna go on a limb, and I have to agree with Gilbert Arenas that he hasn't upgraded his car. Draymond hasn't either. Draymond does everything else so well, but he hasn't improved at it. So he was doing really good, and we turned a blind eye to his antics whenever they were winning. But there's only so much that we can turn a blind eye to. The Rudy Gobert shit, I think, if that would have happened when they were winning, I feel like it would have been the same from everybody, but we probably wouldn't have said as much about it if they were on a championship run. Like the 73-9 season, we probably would have got on his ass a little way harder about it, no Diddy. But I feel like, 2015, 2017, 2018 Warriors, Draymond, I don't know if that season where he stepped on Sabonis' chest was that around that time, but you see we fucking forgot about it. Nobody said anything about that. We've been talking about when he punched the fuck out of Nurkic and choked the shit out of Rudy. This is all in the same season, by the way. He had I want to say a 20-game suspension. The Warriors were shit in the bed at that time. But I feel like the Splash Brothers legacy is coming to a close, man. I hate to see it. They had a really powerful 10-year run. I don't want to put the blame on Draymond, as I said before, but I feel like it's time for him to go first. He has to go first to see what we can do for at least another 2 years with Clay and Steph. I feel like Kuminga can fill that void. Moody, I feel like can be in the place of where Kuminga was, playing a little more, kind of getting his feet wet as far as coming into himself, because he was coming into himself a little more, So I feel like it'll be a good switch around. I feel like we send Draymond not to the fucking Lakers. I know he wants to go there. We're not gonna send him to the Lakers. We're gonna send you somewhere you don't want to be. The Magic. Let's send him to the Magic. Him and Pablo Banchero can probably complement each other well. Franz Wagner, it'll take some of the edge off of Franz and his brother Mo as far as the rebounds and the assists. They're not a great defensive team. I feel like they can be a great team defensively as far as everybody if Draymond is there, because he commands a lot on the defensive end as far as everybody being in sync, which allowed Steph Curry to roam a lot in those times when he was getting a lot of steals. So we really didn't care about. We knew Steph Curry was not a great defender. We don't give a shit about defense as much in today's league, but we did not bash Steph Curry for his defense when they were in sync as far as the defensive team, because Draymond's defensive mind, as far as his IQ mentally, allows Curry to roam. You don't have to worry about him. That's a lot of to do with how the Detroit teams were, and I know he takes a lot out of the Detroit book, allowing players to roam. Michael Jordan is another one. They allow him to roam a lot in his defensive days, in his defensive prime. He got to roam a lot because of the way the defensive was. It was trying to be a zone league back then. So you get to roam a lot in certain, if you're that fast and that athletic, you can roam a lot, but as people say, we're done with the 90s. Moving on, man. I haven't looked at any of the awards. So don't piss me off. The league is gonna piss me off. I don't want any leaks on it. So what I felt was that Embiid deserved the MVP anyway. I know that they have the 65 game minimum, and I know that he feels that he shouldn't have missed those other games because he had that meniscus tear in February. I want to say the beginning of February. He came back and he's been busting ass ever since. No diddy, but um, I'll take back what I said when I feel like he should have stayed and got healthy till next season, and try to get that MVP next season. But I still feel like the league should give it to him anyway. I don't know who has it right now. Like I said, I haven't looked up any of the awards, but don't piss me off. Um, Moving on, I feel like Wemby obviously is the undisputed rookie of the year. Chet, I don't feel like should have got it anyway, even if Wemby wasn't in the league because he's a red shirt. Technically, you're in your second fucking year. I don't care if you didn't play last year. You're in the NBA. You were getting a check for the NBA. So some other rookie should have got it. Should have got it this year. He shouldn't have got it. Defensive player of the year, I feel like Wemby should also get that. When he's in the game, he alters shots. The team defensively, the Spurs defensively are number one in the league when Wemby is on the floor. They're damn near last when he isn't. Rudy Gobert is a great defensive player. What is he, a 2 or 3 time defensive player of the year? But as you can see, he's eating off everybody else's plate. What he does is defensively is that he knows where he's supposed to be and he's there because we know he's slow enough to not be there, to not think to be there beforehand. So Anthony Edwards, I'll say it like this. Anthony Edwards and Cat can put the player where they know Rudy wants him, where Rudy can thrive at the rim, a good rim protector, much like Clint Capella. We know that Anthony Edwards and everybody else, Michael Conley Jr., they will put the players in the best position for Rudy to get that block. Nobody's gonna really alter their shots for Rudy. We know we can get off on Rudy. No diddy. Players will have a good game against Rudy. I mean, granted, they'll have a good game against Wemby. I mean, Embiid, an elite player, had a 73-point game against Wemby, but we're not. That's an elite player. Players who probably shouldn't be getting on will get on Rudy. Jalen Brunson will fuck around and have shout to Jalen Brunson for having a 61-point game this season. But he can fuck around and get off on Rudy. Rudy's not a move your feet type of defender. Wemby happens to be both. I feel like, I don't think we've had a rookie of the year / defensive player of the year. If anybody would have got it, it probably would have been Wilt, but they didn't have a defensive player of the year back then. So I feel like, this is my notes. I feel like Wemby should get it, and we should start there with a first. As far as that award, because we know how the NBA likes to fuck players on the awards, just like you did with Giannis, and you're trying to stop players from getting 3 in a row. The voters fatigue thing, I feel like isn't a real thing. I feel like you were literally just biasing by how you feel. I don't know if biasing is a word, but you're being biased by how you feel about the player, which is why when they came out with the 100 player list, Ja dropped about 20 fucking spaces. He was 9 last year, rightfully so. Ja Morant, call 12, shout out Ja. But you dropped him to the 30s because of the gun thing. And yeah, that was an immature move, but you don't drop him for 30 for that because that doesn't affect his play. It didn't affect Dennis Rodman's play when he was going to the strip club and drinking all night because he was there to play every fucking day. And that in that aspect, Jordan had no problem with it. So I don't feel like the league is doing a good job of that. Malik Monk, 6th man of the year, and I feel like he should also get most improved. What I did look up, and I lied a little bit, what I did look up is that Kobe White is supposed to get most improved, and I'm a diehard Bulls fan, and I feel like he should get it. But I feel like if I'm being real, it will be between him and Malik Monk. With Malik Monk, Malik Monk not being hurt, I think Malik Monk would get it. But because he is hurt, I feel like Kobe White has had a lot more time to play those games, and I'm glad he's getting a lot of playing time. I'm glad he's healthy. Waiting on Lonzo to come back, man. But I'm not gonna get into that. I get really emotional about my Bulls. The second thing, man, LeBron's future. I feel like I don't hate LeBron. I feel like it's his time to go. He's done a lot for the league, in the greatest way possible. I feel like the league needed it as far as a face. After Jordan left, man, a lot of people quit their fucking jobs. Fun fact when Jordan left, man, because they just the league got boring, and I feel like there was a lot of faces of the league that should have been faces of the league that couldn't stay healthy. Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Grant Hill, to name those three that should have been the face of the league. Jerry Stackhouse, who probably doesn't get his due diligence as, trying to be the face of the league. A lot of people don't know about that. So LeBron coming in 03 like he did was like perfect timing. Even though good players were priming, they couldn't stop LeBron. And he, rightfully so, he became the face of the league, the face of a generation. Um, I'm glad, happy for him in his 21-year career. He's going strong, man. He's healthy. A lot of people should have took a page out of his book as far as health. A lot of players would have been better off. Tracy McGrady, for one, who had a great season in 03. I think he averaged 32 points. In 03, maybe he should have been getting in that cryotherapy with LeBron. He would have been the face of the league in the East. As far as in the East would have probably gotten a lot more respect. I digress. Bronny put his name, I think, in the draft and also in the transfer portal. So I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. He didn't have a good college season this year, and I don't give a shit because you don't need to have one of those to get to the league, as we see. And that's no shade to Bronny, but I know that Bronny might just be fucking NBA good. He might not be college good. College is a structured base. It's a different type of beast. And not to say that the NBA is not structured, but the college level is a little more structured. From experience playing a little college ball, there's certain aspects that you just have to do and deal with and be around, and there's a certain lifestyle that you can not live, playing college ball. And I feel like Bronny, I mean, he makes a pretty penny. I'm not pocket watching, but he makes a pretty penny from his streaming and everything, and I'm happy for him in that aspect. I do feel like he could thrive a little better if he just goes to the NBA right now and he gets that burn while he can. I feel like if he comes into the league in the draft, we will see LeBron's farewell tour, whether it be when Bronny comes in or the year after, his sophomore year in the league. But I feel like if he does that, LeBron will announce his retirement. I feel like it would have been a long time coming, and though I troll a lot about how much LeBron isn't better than Jordan, I do feel like it's been a long time coming, and I love what LeBron has done for the game nonetheless, and he will be missed in the game. The playoffs were fun to watch, especially in 2011 when I really really rooted for LeBron to win that, and he kind of disappointed me. But I'm nobody to disappoint. I'm a nobody anyway. So, um, my second thing, man, uh, Jokic and Davis. This is the matchup that I love. Jokic and Davis. I mean, I also like Embiid and Davis and Embiid and Jokic, but Embiid didn't play against Jokic this year. So, I mean, we see why Jokic he generates a lot of points. I feel like over 50 points he generates, just from points and assists and rebounds alone. He's not really like a rim protector. He's a facilitator. He moves at his own pace. You can't move him. He's strong as shit, but he doesn't have the ideal body, no diddy, as far as physique. Jokic and Davis have played 32 times in their career. And Jokic is leading the curve. 13 and 14 in the regular 13 and 10, excuse me, in the regular season, 5 and 4 in the playoffs. Jokic is averaging 21 points against 21, 10, and 6 against Davis. Davis is averaging 26, 8, and 2 with 2 blocks. 2 blocks against. So we know Davis plays both ends of the floor. He hasn't been healthy these past few times. I want to say maybe 2 games that he's played against Jokic, he hasn't been healthy. I need Davis to stay as healthy as possible. The keys are supposed to be his in LA, man. And I feel like after that championship, he hasn't done it as much. And I don't wanna have a preconceived notion about Davis and his health, but I do not feel like he's done enough, in my opinion, to stay healthy. I feel like he's kind of like Kawhi. He's playing too hard and he's not worried about his health. And the durability that I feel like is a big thing as far as hoops goes. Any hooper will say that. As far as Bulls fans, we know as emotional as we get as that 2011, 2012 season with Derrick Rose and that Sixers playoffs and the moment we shall not talk about. So durability is a big thing, and I feel like Davis needs to worry about that a little more. I'm really excited to see this. As I've said before, I'm really excited to see this, man, with the playoffs with them too. I want to touch on the playoffs a little bit more. I feel like the Thunder did a great job this year. The Thunder did a great fucking job. And I feel like without Embiid being the MVP, I feel like Shea deserves it. I'm not gonna lie, Shea deserves it. Undisputed with Embiid being hurt. He put that team on his back, man. They don't have anybody else that could have done what he's done. Since the 2013 Thunder, who were the youngest and I think the tallest team in the league at that time. The Thunder being the youngest team at the time, nobody expected them to be the number one fucking seed, bro. No, in the West. We know the West is stacked. The West has been stacked since 1940s. The West is stacked, man. And for them to be number one in the West, I think speaks highly of Shea and highly of the team and how in sync they are. Shout out Shea, shout out Giddy, shout out Mr. Williams over there. I forgot his first name, but yeah, you guys have been doing a great job, man. I love how OKC didn't go into a drought as far as after Durant and Westbrook and Ibaka and Harden left. It was damn near unnoticeable if they did have a drought, but they did good in getting Shea from the Clippers, man. I don't feel like he would have thrived on the Clippers. Seeing what they were trying to do and what they're doing now, I don't feel like he would have thrived on the Clippers as far as coming up into himself. So, whoever wins out of the Kings and the Pelicans, they'll play the Thunder. And I feel like the Thunder have both of their cards. None you can tell me. None you can tell me. I feel like the Thunder have both of their cards, man. So we'll call that an easy one, and we'll put the Thunder in the second round, bro. The Clippers will be playing against the Mavericks, and I feel like that can go either way. It's gonna go Game 7, I think. Luka has been busting their ass every time they play. He's averaging, I think, way over 30 against them, and I mean, Luka is Luka. Luka is just like Jokic. You can't speed them up or slow them down. Really, they're already fucking slow in our eyes, but they're playing at a pace that the foreigners much likely play at. It's either fast or it's very moderate, a very deliberate pace to where you see the ball there and you really can't fucking steal it. So the Clippers, I feel like they should double Luka a lot more and make either Tim Hardaway or one of their big men score 100 points. Kyrie is going to be Kyrie. He's going to get to his spot. There's nothing you can do. He's a 20-plus scorer. Tim Hardaway Jr., he could be I don't know, on any given night when he gets hot, as we've seen so well when he's done with the New York Knicks, that he can be a 18 to 25 point scorer on any given night. But I do feel like if they force Tim Hardaway to score, that they can win the game. They can win the whole series, and they'll be better off that. Just give up, send Paul and Kawhi Leonard at him, and have Westbrook and Harden just kind of clean up. Make Tim Hardaway do what y'all want Luka to do, basically. Send somebody at him. Have somebody guard this motherfucker full court, full 94 feet. Pat Beverly would have been that guy. Shout out Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly would have been that guy to do that, guard him 94 feet, bring him into the double team. Be mindful of y'all surroundings as far as the shooters and, execute. Do not let anybody get in that middle of that floor, man. That's basketball 101. The Timberwolves are about to play the Suns. And Ant Edwards has been MVP talks this season, man. There's been a lot of jokes about him being Jordan's son. Ant Edwards is the new face of the league. Him, Ja, and Zion Williamson should be the new faces of the league in years to come. I feel like Jason Tatum can also be in that talk, but he doesn't get a due diligence being on a team like the Celtics, who are the number 1 seed. So we expect them to win every year after that 2022 championship that the Warriors won. We just expect the Celtics to be great, and the Celtics are the Celtics. They're not going to push, So I feel like the Celtics are going to be in a drought as far as that. MVP talks and banners and stuff for the next few years. About 10% because of that reason. Everybody knows the reason. We know about Boston fans. They smeared shit on Bill Russell's wall. 11-time champion. They don't care about Bill Russell. They're not going to care about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So, moving on, man. The Bucks are about to play the Pacers. The Bucks had the Pacers card all season. They played, I want to say 4 or 5 times, and they beat the shit out of them every time. I don't want to say beat the shit out of them, but you lost. They fired Adrian Griffin. They still got to pay him. They got to pay the the coach before him. I forgot his name. Excuse me if I forgot your name. but they gotta pay. They still gotta pay them too. Adrian Griffin was 30-13 before Glenn Rivers got there. I won't call him Doc. He's been under 500 since he became the coach, and some fucking how he became the all-star coach. And I don't see how that works. And he act like he didn't want to be the all-star coach. So Glenn Rivers can't say this is his team. And they're paying this motherfucker 40 mil, I want to say. So, Glenn is not he's not the coach we think he is. He had that run with the Celtics, and I think we hold him in high praise because of that 08 team. That 08 team was great, and I felt like he had something to do with the championship. But I do not feel like, besides the 08 Celtics, that Glenn Rivers can hang his hat on any door as far as greatness as a coach. I feel like he had a great team with the early 2010s Clippers team with DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, and Blake Griffin, but I do not feel like I feel like they were just smart in themselves. And like I said, I don't feel like he can take full credit for any of that, even though they were a great playoff team and they could have won something. Conference finals. I feel like they could have got to the finals, but they don't have their own practice facility. So the Knicks in the number 2 seed in the East. I bet we thought we wouldn't be saying that shit. So Julius Randle's hurt. And though he's a turnover machine, I feel like he's a big part of it. But this gives Jalen Brunson a time to really come into himself, which we've seen with that 61-point game. I do believe Julius Randle was hurt at that time. Whoever wins out of the play-in with the Sixers and the Heat will play the Knicks. And whichever one is going to beat the fucking sleeves off the Knicks. We know that for sure. And this is no disrespect to the Knicks, but I haven't been to the finals since I got the shit beat out of y'all about the Rockets. And we see how that went. So, playoff Jimmy's coming, bro. So if the Heat do happen to beat the motherfucking if the Heat do happen to beat the Sixers, which Joel Embiid only averages 23 points against them and 10 boards, we have to assume that the Heat are gonna fuck around and get to the finals if they can get through the Celtics. So we have to put playoff Jimmy at high praise. Tyler Hero has been playing well this year. Duncan Robinson has been doing what he's doing. He's earning that contract year after year, man. Shout out Duncan Robinson. He's a pure shooter. Okay. So and we'll get to my Bulls, man, in a little bit. My Bulls are playing the Hawks in the play-in, and I'm scared. Terribly scared. I do not feel like we can win, but I do feel like we can win, but I don't. So if we win, man, we'll play. I don't know who will play. I guess it'll be out of. Yeah, if we win, I think we'll be playing the Celtics. And the Celtics beat the shit out of us all the time. So we can kiss that first round goodbye. But I feel like it's because we've had so many injuries. I don't feel like the Celtics can really beat us. We're a great defensive team. I don't feel like Derek White can guard Kobe White at any given moment. I feel like DeRozan does a great job. He's been leading the league, I think, in minutes per game. And I feel like he's been carrying us, man. I don't feel like Zach LaVine wants to be here anymore. We paid you $253 fucking million, and your foot hurts because I think you want to go to the Lakers. And I don't want to be mad at Zach LaVine, but I feel like you want to be on a different team, and I'm mad about it. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the 4th seed. The Orlando Magic are in the 5th seed, and Pablo Banchero has been playing his fucking ass off. Him and Franz have been complimenting each other very great. Suggs and Cole Anthony have been playing great as well. They've been complimenting Pablo Banchero and Franz, so they've been playing their role, man. Jonathan Isaac, I don't really like him, but I feel like he came into himself after his ACL injury. I feel like he really has complimented. Now Mo is that man. Mo has been picking up the slack on everybody else's mistakes when it comes to defense. And, as I said before, the Atlanta Magic isn't really a defensive team. They have the precursor to be a great defensive team if they, they could become in sync, but they've really been focusing on their scoring and they've been better off because of it. That's all I have wrapped up as far as the playoffs, man. But as far as my final thoughts, man, and I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. It's anybody's championship to win this season, man. I do not feel like it's a first sure on anybody. As far as teams, the fucking Hawks can fuck around and win this season, man. There's been so many injuries and there's been so many lazy motherfuckers this season that I feel like the championship is anybody's. Is anybody's fucking trophy, Larry O'Brien trophy to lift up, or Bill Russell trophy, man. I really like the playoffs this season. I feel like everybody can go into Game 7 this season. I feel like there's going to be a bunch of Game 7s. It's going to go down to the wire in an immense amount of times. But my focus is always going to be on the Lakers. A few teams, the Lakers, that Minnesota, Phoenix playoffs, and then my Bulls as far as we can get. But if my Bulls happen to shit the bed, man, I'm gonna be looking at that Pacers and Bucks. Because I really feel like Dame and Giannis haven't had a time to really get in sync as far as the season. And they brought over my boy Pat Beverly. Shout out Pat Beverly and his podcast. So I love what they can do defensively. They become a great defensive team as far as on paper. But you're not gonna fool me with that slowing down the ball to have the other team get less possession so you don't get your ass busted. They need to get a defensive coordinator in there. Pat Beverly needs to run the defenses or something because I don't feel like Doc Rivers really understands. He doesn't make adjustments when it comes to defense. So when he starts getting his ass beat, he's just getting his ass beat. And he doesn't adjust well and come back well against good offensive teams. And we've seen that time and time again when he all of a sudden got coach of the year during the NBA lockout. So I feel like there's a lot of potential for every team, but I also am not I'm not sold on Doc Rivers being the coach. I'm not sold on it. I'll never be sold on it. Um I feel like Adrian Griffin should have stayed. He was holding the players accountable. I feel like him and Pat Beverly could have held the whole team accountable and they could have held them together and then the camaraderie would have been, way better off seeing that Chris Middleton was hurt and he didn't get a chance to sink in with those guys, man. But I feel like if Chris Middleton is healthy and he's hitting shots, he can give you about 19 to 25. Damian Lillard, I think he was averaging maybe 20 under 26. I'm not disappointed about it, but I'm not sold on it. I feel like he can do more and he will do more in the playoffs. We've seen that before on the Blazers. Giannis, I don't think Giannis is gonna understand that he can't score 40 fucking points every game. He has to understand that, and you have to let everybody else play. You have to let Damian. You have to play do Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton if you're gonna get anywhere. Those are the scorers that can get to the line a little more. They're gonna get the calls. They're gonna get to their spots a little easier because Giannis hasn't taken the time to slow down and know what his spots are. As far as like those short corners, those blocks that 15 and down, that restricted area, hook shot, so much like the Tim Duncan game, I feel like he hasn't. I feel like that'll be the person that he has to watch as far as slowing his game down when the game demands it. And he's hurt right now, so maybe he could take some time to reflect and see how the game kind of works through Damian Lillard. I'm eager to see him and Pat Beverly, man, on the court together because I feel like they really work really well together. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys get out of here, man. This is the first episode, man, to conclude Head At Podcast, man. I didn't do any trolling. Um, like and subscribe, bro. Hit that subscribe button as many times. Share the wealth, man. Share my channel. I'm gonna be grinding a lot, man. I'm gonna be trying to get to the games as much as possible as far as giving my take on it. I'll try to go more in depth, more and more as the playoffs progress. There'll be things that I'm gonna, be very critical on, man. So please don't be mad at me about it. It's just how I feel as far as a basketball player and how I'm a student of the game and like to watch it. Hopefully sponsors come soon, man. We'll see with the subscribers and everything and how they goes. But yeah, man, peace and love, guys.